Greetings, programmers. When we last left our program, we were see if we could check for a queen safety by first of all seeing if a queen in a row is attacking, which meant first thing we had to do was find a queen in a row. So this doesn't work yet. We just return -1. Let's see if we can fix that. So find queen in a row. If we want to look for a queen in a row on a chessboard, that's going to be a row in our two-dimensional array. We'll use a for loop again, right? Because we want to check element 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So let's do that. Find queen in a row. So let's have an integer, and we'll call that column. We'll initialize that to -1. Now we need our for loop. And I equals 0. While I is less than 8, I plus. We choose 8 because there are 8 columns on a chessboard. Now, for each one of these, we need to do a check. Since we need to do a check, we're using if the chessboard at, what's our row? Row of queen, comma, column will be I, we haven't decided what a queen will be. We'll make a queen a Q. If it's a Q, then column equals I. This isn't super efficient. It'll keep looking for a queen after it finds one. But then at the end I can return column. I could do something like and column is less than 0. Right, I could do a short circuit there for this comparison. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to keep it simple at this point. If I want to refactor later for speed, I can do that. So now I'm going to be looking for a queen in a row, and then I will I can see if that row is attacking. So let's copy that out, paste it in here. It is still running, but now I see I am looking for a queen. I have an empty chessboard. I don't have any chessboards that have queens in them. I could at this point stop and say, okay, well, let's play some queens. I don't want to do that. So I create a blank board. I'm going to create an unsafe chessboard. And I'll just copy this code out. I'm going to put it right here under the build blank board. And I have now a create unsafe chessboard. It's very similar to this one, except I've dropped a few Qs in here. And I put them in particular places. Like I have a column of Qs, so we can see Qs that are in a column. I have Qs that are in a down ramp diagonal, that are in an up ramp diagonal, and some that are safe. So as our safety checks build, this unsafe board will go from passing as safe to being identified as unsafe. So let's see in our build board now, instead of building a blank board, and I want to come back to that, I'm going to, and I don't want that to be public. I want that to be private. Create unsafe board. So now when my calling program builds a board, it'll always be unsafe. Yep, I got my queens out there now. So now I've found a queen in a row. And so now I need to see if the queen is attacking in a row. And instead of just returning true, return that result. So I need to look for is queen in the row attacking, which means I need to see if I can find a queen in that same row. So rather than say find queen in a row, I'll create a private method, and it will return a bool as to whether or not I found it. Find, we'll say a friend. And I want to pass in the location of the queen. Who might have a friend in that same row. So if we're looking in that row, it's going to be very similar to finding a queen in a row. And let me just copy and paste this code in. So it looks very similar. And let me take this out again. We don't need to do that kind of check now. So I need to see if I is not in the row of the queen, and a chessboard equals a Q. So here, if I'm this should actually be, I think, row. So I initialize my friend found a false. I'm going to go through each column in the row, and if my I doesn't equal, this should actually be the column that I passed in. And I do find a queen in that location, then I found a friend, right? So I don't want to, if I find a queen in that column, that means I found myself, and I don't care about finding myself. I only want to look for friends in that row. And I shouldn't find any friends in that row, but this is a good initial test. So we should actually have something that fully works now for finding friends, or for finding queens in danger, actually. So if I copy this, uh-oh, I got another error. Let's see if we can fix it in here. And this will just be a column. Actually, it looks like I have another bug in here, because we want to keep looking in the same row over and over, and we want to change which column we're in. So let's try that one. Fix my bug. There we go. So now we're outputting queens, and now I need to add a line in here that says how many tries it was. Now that I'm actually finding things, when I print my board, I need to start calculating. Let's save that for the next video.